So, good afternoon,
We are
everyone.
live.
Devora, would
Yeah.
you like to start?
Okay, we're starting on time. Start on
Yeah.
time. Yeah, we're at capacity. Okay. So good afternoon, everyone. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Devora Amar, and I'm excited and honored to be the new Chief Inspector of English Language Education for elementary schools. Just to tell you a little bit about myself and my interests in the field, up until July, I was an elementary school teacher myself. I worked as a national counselor and a teacher trainer at 2 colleges. English language teaching, particularly elementary school level, is my passion. There's nothing like the magic of teaching young learners something new and the magic of teaching reading. My areas of interest and focus for this year and for the future are literacy, equality, meaning equal learning opportunities for all learners, creative learning, communication, and collaboration. And in order for all of this, for all of us to achieve this, both Elias and I strongly believe in the importance of teacher well-being. For this reason, we've chosen the topic of teacher well-being for our first national webinar. Your well-being is one of our top priorities, especially in such challenging times. We know that this year and this week in particular, with the anniversary of the 7th of October has been very difficult, and we just want you to know that we're here for you. Elias, over to you.
Thank you, Devora. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Elias Farah. I've been an English teacher. Well, up to August, I taught English for 24 years. I taught both. I started in junior high and then moved up to high school, but I still taught every now and then. I taught also in junior high. I was a debate counselor in the Northern District for a number of years. For those of you who are in the debate program for grade 9. I also teach at Oranim College, both in the BA and the master's program. Our vision for this year first is your well-being. We're here to emotionally support you, to support your professional development. So these are some of our goals for this year, is to provide you with courses that can be practical and useful to you in your English teaching profession. We hope to develop materials focused on literacy. When we speak about literacy, we're speaking about reading and writing, the two very important skills for our students. We do hope to develop digital materials and also with AI tools. And it's also important for us to continue to implement the English curriculum and make it more accessible to teachers. Thank you. So our focus for this afternoon is well-being. So we'll start. Devora and I are going to dedicate some words to well-being, and then afterwards we have some guest speakers, national counselors, who will also speak about particular aspects of well-being. So at some point, we're going to split at about 6 o'clock. We'll split. Elementary school will have their own this link, and junior high and high school will move to another link. And Howie and Gail will talk about this later, how you do this. So I would like to share my presentation. And I'm going to start by saying a few words about teacher well-being. Okay, first I have this definition. There's so many definitions out there.
Elias, can you share your screen? You're not sharing your screen. You need to share the presentation, not the other mode.
Can you see it now?
No, you need to share the presentation mode.
What about this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just go one more and just see that it's moving. Perfect.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. Okay, so there are lots of definitions of what well-being is. I like this definition by the US Center for Disease Control and Prevention. It says that well-being is the presence of positive emotions and moods, the absence of negative emotions, satisfaction with life, fulfillment, and positive functioning. And what are the general educator stressor? What causes stress to teachers? They can include the school environment itself, lack of support at work. It can be lack of work-life balance, the demand we have at home, political atmosphere itself, and compassion fatigue. Compassion fatigue is when we help individuals, especially for us teachers, our students who go through trauma, we experience compassion fatigue. And unlike burnout is something that happens over time. Compassion fatigue can happen just from one incident. And I'm sure as teachers, we've all experienced this, and this influences our well-being. And I want to say something. Recent research shows that language teachers in particular experience anxiety, experience their well-being is influenced more than other areas. And if you think about us English teachers, this constant switch between languages, between cultures, that in itself can be stressful to us. Why is teacher well-being important? Because studies show that when teachers experience high well-being, the whole entire system benefits from it, including our students. Our students are more successful, and we have a better and a healthier environment. And I want to speak about some coping strategies, and Devora will focus on the personal strategies in a moment, but I'll just quickly say that self-reflection is being aware what disturbs our well-being, what causes us to feel stress is very important, because then we know what we need to do. Managing our free time, it helps reduce stress. Mindfulness, that's something that Sharon will speak about. Meditation and yoga support emotional resilience and other things as well. Then we have the work environment strategy, is building supportive networks. That sense of that we belong to a community, a supportive community, and it's always good for me as an English teacher. It was always important for me to be surrounded by a positive atmosphere that contributed so much to my well-being. And also not to be shy to sometimes delegate tasks, not to do everything yourself. That helps us a lot as well. And I want to focus on the last point, and that is professional development, focusing on our professional development. And that's something that the research talks about a lot. And that professional development, it builds confidence and competence. And most important is that it creates a sense of agency. And agency, when we speak about teacher agency, is that having control, we being control of our learning, of the learning environment. This is one of the definitions of that teacher agency, is the ability of educators to influence the teaching environment. And we know that this has a strong impact on the classroom, on the school atmosphere. And studies show that when teachers who are confident in their abilities, they experience a high level of well-being. And here I want to speak about professional development, that it's very important for us to continually engage in professional development. We may not have control over the embedded structures that are imposed on us from above, but we do have control of what we do in the classroom, of how we run our lessons, on the content that we use. And that is something that I love as a teacher, that I love about our curriculum, is that it tells us where we need to get our students to, but it doesn't tell us how we do it. It gives us a lot of freedom for us to decide how we do this. So we exercise control, and when we exercise control, this improves our well-being. I would like to move over now back to Devora.
Thank you. Okay, I'll share my screen as well. How you just let me know if my slides are moving? Yes. Okay. Thank you, Sharon.
I just need to take Elias from the remove spotlight and put you there. Okay, go for it.
All right. Thank you. So just before I begin my part, and before I forget, I'd just like to thank, first of all, our national counselors and tech support, Howie Gordon and Gail Singer, for doing a lot of the behind the scenes work. And of course, our four presenters, Dr. Sharon Fayerberger, Hanny Fuks, Dr. Nicole Broder, and Aharona Gvaryahu. Look forward to hearing from all of you shortly. Okay, so my focus on teacher well-being, I'm going to actually divide into two different care practices. The first one is self-care, which is personal well-being, and the second one is just tell you what it's called, people care, or we can call it community well-being, and in our case, that would be our teacher community. So beginning with self-care, this nice quote, I'll just move you guys out of the way so I can actually see it. Self-compassion is simply giving the same kindness to ourselves that we would give to others. This was said by famous mindfulness instructor, Christopher Germer. Us being educators, something that we tend to do is focus on others first, but we need to keep in mind that we need to focus on ourselves as well in order to have the strength to focus on others. So there are actually three competencies of self-care, and this is taken from Triple Wellbeing, very nice program in the UK. The first is self-awareness. So that means our ability to perceive and understand the qualities that make us unique. Knowing what makes us unique, including our thoughts, feelings, actions, values, beliefs, emotions, personality, and especially understanding our needs is important. As teachers, we need to know what we need. As educators, as parents, we need to know what we need so that we can know how to get help if we need that. Self-compassion, the practice of viewing ourselves with a non-judgmental and supportive lens. Being supportive of ourselves, the way that we support others. I like to use the words giving and forgiving, which both have the root giving in them, or include giving. So giving to ourselves and forgiving ourselves if we've made a mistake. Also, resilience and agency. Elias has mentioned agency, but resilience and agency is developed when we are actively engaged in building healthy, active relationships with ourselves and with others. So in order to feel part of a community or to be good educators, being part of that process, being agents of the process will help us feel more involved in enjoying what we're doing. Some of the coping strategies that Elias mentioned were self-reflection, time management, mindfulness, and so on. And we actually asked you to fill in a survey, and more than 200 of you did. Thank you for doing that. It was actually very interesting. So the first question we asked you, 4 of the questions were sort of related to personal well-being. So I engage in exercise at least 3 times a week. Just to remind you, 1 is no, and 5 is yes, and then we have the numbers in the middle. So unfortunately, 80% of us don't really have the time for exercise, but if we try and engage in that, then that could be a coping strategy and a way of improving our well-being. I get enough sleep to feel rested and rejuvenated. I'm happy to see that the majority feel that at least some of the time they do. But yes, we can see we're kind of divided there. The next question was, I manage stress effectively through relaxation techniques such as meditation, deep breathing, and so on. And again, there's about 70% who do. 30%, 70 participants who do engage in this, but then we're kind of divided among the rest. And finally, I have enough time for hobbies and personal interests outside of work. Again, about 33% are right there in the middle and kind of divided among the rest. Engaging in these activities, if we move from the one to the 5, it will contribute to our well-being and it's a coping strategy for to manage the way that we feel. Moving on to people care or community well-being. As I said, our community is the teaching community, or specifically EFL, teaching community in Israel. So I won't even attempt to say this person's name. I see Sharon laughing. The best way to care about the environment is to care about the environmentalist. But I feel in our case, so I'm using his words and just changing them a little bit. The best way to care about education is to care about the educator. So this is why we really want to be there for you and be there for each other, so that it trickles down to our learners as well into education. So again, 3 competencies for people care. The first one, social awareness, similar to before how we had our personal awareness. The ability to observe, appreciate, and accept similarities and differences between diverse cultures and communities, knowing what our community is about, or the various communities, what they're about, what they need, and so on. Compassion for others, the ability to feel and understand the needs of others and to respond with kindness and a desire to support their well-being. So we want to hear from you what your needs are, and we want to be able to help you, and we'll present some of our plans to do that shortly. And citizenship and belonging. A citizen is someone who more actively contributes to society and recognizes that we are all interconnected. So if we're feeling supported, then we can contribute to our society, and our society will be better. I just want to mention something that I heard this morning on the radio. As I'm driving around the country, I often listen to, I don't know if I should say the radio station. I don't want to plug one, but I heard this morning, Hadar Marks saying that it's not enough to ask somebody how you are, but it's better to ask questions, or do you need me to do this for you? Can I help you in this way? So it's nice to ask how you're doing, but to actually offer some sort of support. Can I take over that class for you for a minute? Do you want me to be there? Can I share a presentation with you? So not just asking, but actually the doing is something, and that creates, again, our citizenship and our well-being. Again, coping strategies that Elias mentioned, building support networks. So that's what we're hoping to do. Community, focusing on strengths, delegating tasks, knowing when to ask for help. And our survey questions here: I can balance my work responsibilities and personal life without feeling overwhelmed. Again, in the middle, we have the most, but we have people on both sides. So let's try and do these things. I feel supported by my social circle when I face challenges. I'm glad to see that the majority feel that way. I have opportunities for professional growth and development in my workplace. Again, I'm thrilled to see that the majority do feel that they have that. And of course, we're going to share with you some opportunities, and we hope that you take them, because again, it leads to your well-being. And I feel satisfied with my overall job performance and achievements. Again, happy to see that there are very few who don't feel satisfied, and we hope you do, because if you love your job, you don't actually work a day in your life. So remember, put your oxygen mask on first, then help your learners put on their masks, and together you can build a better environment. So take care of yourselves, take care of others, and together we'll all be healthier. Okay, back to you, Elias. I'll stop sharing.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, but I can't see you. Oh, yeah, yeah. Okay.
Now we can.
Okay, because I lost internet connection and I had to come back in again. I think that's why. Okay, so how we will support you this year. So I mentioned earlier on that we will have professional development courses, and all these courses will begin. There will be regional and national courses. offered from the beginning of November. So you'll soon hear about these courses through the regional inspectors and also through the national counselors as well. Devora?
Okay, we have close to 40 PLCs scheduled to open, and they will also open in the beginning of November. And as we mentioned, being part of a community helps you with your balance and with your teacher well-being. So please feel free to join them if you're not already part of them.
I have to say something here about professional development and PLCs, which I was always involved in as a teacher. They helped me widen my circle of connections as well. I got to know amazing people, and I made so many friends over the years from these professional development courses. And I really encourage you to join the courses and the PLCs that are that will be offered from November. We also have a list of national counselors. A lot of the time we receive emails from teachers. And if you go to the portal, you will have, go to the Shulchan Amar, click on that. On that page, you will see a list of the national counselors and their area of expertise. So you can get in touch with them as well if you have any questions. And a lot of the time, that helps relieve stress when you get an answer for a question that is bothering you. And on that same page, you will also see our emails, Devora's emails and my email. So also feel free to get in touch.
Okay, as you probably know, each district has its counselors with their own WhatsApp groups. If you haven't already joined one, please do. The groups are usually, they often have a group that's just announcements. Sometimes they have groups that are just elementary school and then junior high school. Find the one that's appropriate for you. That's the best way to stay up to date. You can ask questions. If you need something, you can turn to the counselors there and to others. Please join if you haven't already.
Okay, and the Q&A forum is being planned now at the moment, and once it's available, we'll announce it. It'll be on the portal. It'll be another platform for you to ask questions and receive answers from professionals in the field. And anyone who can actually, anyone here who feels that they can volunteer to help as well, will be very grateful.
Okay, we are also planning on starting, hopefully right after the holidays, monthly sessions on Zoom with national counselors and with Elias and I as well to support teachers. Each month we'd like to have an open Zoom meeting with a number of rooms, and we'll be there to answer your questions, to give you information according to whatever's going on at the time, general questions according to level, just another way for you to get information, ask the questions, see us, be heard, share, and so on. So we look forward to seeing you there too.
And as we mentioned earlier, we'll be developing more resources that can help you your teaching this year. And these are our emails, and you will be able to find them on the portal. Again, click on Shulchan Amar, and you will find the emails there. If you'd like to take a photo of them now as well, you can do that as well. We're here to support you. Your well-being, again, is very important to us. We understand that these are very difficult times. So please feel free to get in touch. Thank you very much. And I think now we can move to Sharon.
Yes.
Hey.
Hang on, I reply. Hang on. Okay.
Hey. Hi, everyone. My name is Sharon Fayerberger, and the subject is well-being, and both Devora and Elias have talked about mindfulness. So what I would thought that I would do in the next 15 minutes is to actually give you a taste of mindfulness, to explain just in a couple of words what it is, and actually do a mindfulness practice with you to actually, because we actually really need it in these times and these days. Mindfulness is actually, it's a self-help tool, and it's practiced via meditation. And a lot of research has shown that it really helps with teacher burnout. And it also helps teachers become better teachers because we actually teach who we are. So if we're calm and cool, then we'll be cool and calm teachers. And that's what we're actually going to teach. My experience, I teach mindfulness in English to my students, to my pupils, and hopefully one of the PLCs in the Haifa district this year will be a mindfulness course to English teachers and how to use it in the English classroom. And what mindfulness actually means, it means being awake, and it means knowing what you're doing. It's paying attention to the present moment in a very non-judgmental way. It's the ability to change, to train the mind to be in the present moment with intention and attention. And what we're going to do now is I'm going to give you an example of what mindfulness, or what being mindfulness is. So if, and you can try this afterwards, if you were to hold up your hand, okay, and if you were just to stare at the palm of your hand and just check out the lifelines and the gaps between your fingers and the nails that may pop out from behind, and just check every little piece of information that comes into your mind when you see your hand, and just totally be with the palm of your hand. And if you turn over and look at the back of your hand, you can do the same. You can just totally look at maybe some liver spots that have just come up, or any creases in the hands, or the colors of your nails. And if you're totally immersed in what is going on in your hand, then you're actually being mindful. And how can mindfulness help us? Because mindfulness is about being aware. It's about being aware of ourselves. It's about being aware of our feelings. And by being aware of our feelings, then we actually know how to handle ourselves. So for example, if I feel that I'm really, really upset right now, then I can do something about it. But I have to be aware of it first of all. And I'll give you a classic example of what happened today in class. I had about half a class today because a lot of the kids were scared to come into school. And I felt that I was getting really annoyed. I was getting really annoyed with the students who couldn't stop talking. They were all excited, and I really wanted to use the time to teach them. And I was so aware of myself. I could feel in my chest. I could feel my chest was pounding, and I could feel that I was going to say something not very nice, and I didn't want to, not under the circumstances. And so I was so aware of it that I took some nice deep breaths, okay, which you can do if you're in this situation. It's called the 4x4, where you take 4 deep breaths and you hold it, and then you slowly release it. And you can do it very quietly. And I managed to gather myself and return to normal. So that's just like one example of what you can do in the classroom when you're aware, but you can only do that when you're aware of yourself, when you're aware of what you're feeling. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take you into a 10-minute meditation and really use this opportunity to chill out. And I really hope that during this meditation, there won't be any sirens, so that you can really exploit these 10 minutes of relaxing. And this really helps you with your, really helps you with your well-being. So I'm going to ask you now to sit comfortably in your chair. Okay, it's very important that the position that you're sitting in is comfortable. And once you're aware, once you're in your nice, comfortable position, okay, feet on the ground, the back straight, but not too stiff. Okay, try to relax the shoulders down. And this is the time to check if you want to change the position so that you're more comfortable. And after you've settled into a comfortable but alert position, I'm going to invite you to close your eyes. Okay, so gently close your eyes and pay attention to everything that rises and appears in this moment. No need to be judgmental. All I'm going to ask you to do is to observe anything that arises, any sensations, any feelings, but to do it all in a very curious and accepting way. Think of this sitting time as quality time for your well-being, and give yourself this opportunity to softly breathe. And remember that right now there's nothing to achieve, there's nowhere to rush. And this meditation invites you to be present in this moment. Leave the past in the past, and the future is going to come anyway. And we'll just start by focusing on the breath. And after that, we're going to scan the body. So let's start by paying attention to the movement of the breath in the body. Each breath begins with an inhale followed by an exhale. Now take a nice deep breath through your nose and let the breath come out softly and slowly through the mouth. And again, a nice deep breath through your nose and let the breath come out softly and slowly through the mouth. Try to make the breath long and slow. And do this a couple of times just to help you relax. A nice long inhale and a nice slow exhale. Just paying attention to the in-breath and the out-breath. Paying attention to what happens as you breathe in and out. Feel the breath move and notice the sensations of breathing. The breath is like a wave. It rises and it falls. Just observe the moment of the wave and the movement of the wave at this moment. You may ask yourself, is it a stable wave, heavy? Is it light, strong, stormy, or calm? Just observe the breath as a wave. No need to change the movement of the wave. Just observe it and allow it to be what it is. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Now let's notice and pay attention to where you feel the breath in your body. Perhaps you feel it in the chest, as the chest rises and falls, or the stomach area. You may notice perhaps a knot in the stomach, or discomfort in the chest, or in the shoulders. Just bring your attention to the breath, to those areas, and slowly let the stomach become unknotted. Let the chest and shoulders relax. And rest in the breath as if you were rocking in a hammock. And each time the mind begins to wander, as it will, it's quite normal. Thoughts come and thoughts go. Just watch them. Allow them to occur. And then gently bring yourselves back to this moment by focusing on the breath. And this will happen again and again. Your mind will wander, and you just gently bring it back. The breath in mindfulness is the anchor. No need to judge ourselves or get angry at the distracting thoughts. Just let them come and go, returning your attention to this moment. Now we're going to scan the body. So bring your attention to the facial area. Pay attention to the eyes and the brows, and let go of any tension there. If you feel that you are closing your eyes too tightly, then just lessen the tension, relaxing the eyelids and allowing them to rest softly in the cradle of the eye. Let's bring our attention to the jaw and slightly by opening the mouth just slightly. Paying attention to where the tongue is. Paying attention to the root of the tongue all the way down the throat. Going all the way down to the shoulders. Focusing the attention on the shoulder blades. Trying to relax them with each breath. You may notice sensations or discomfort or calm. Just pay attention. Let's bring our attention right now to the hands, opening them a little bit more, focusing all the attention to the hands. You may find that the hands are a little numb or tickling, or perhaps nothing at all. But just focus all your attention on the hands. Now we'll bring the attention to the area of the lower part of the body, to the pelvic area. Sitting in your seats. Feeling how your body comes to contact with the seat and feeling support from the seat. Paying attention to the thighs and the knees, going all the way down to the legs, to the ankles, and the feet. Pay attention to the meeting point of the foot on the floor, to any sensations. Just bringing the attention and allowing things to be just as they are right now. Breathing and relaxing. Breathing and relaxing. Now let's bring our attention to the area of the heart. If you want, you can place one hand on your heart and the other hand on your stomach. Just paying attention to the heartbeat and to the breath in the stomach. Notice the movement of the breath under the hands. Paying attention to the sensations that arise from the heart. Observing everything that arises and appearing without any opinion or taking on any position. Just in a curious and accepting way. And at this point, you may ask yourselves what your heart wants right now, what your heart needs right now. And perhaps send a little prayer of comfort to yourselves or to somebody else who needs it right now. A wish for compassion, for love, for care. Sending it straight from the heart out to the universe. And slowly bring your attention back to the breath. Just for this last part of the meditation. Bringing the focus to the inhale and exhale. Being grateful for this moment and the ability to bring attention to yourself. Take time to congratulate yourselves and feel a sense of gratitude for giving yourselves space and precious time to sit quietly and relax. And in a second, I'll ask you to gently open your eyes and then just stretch a little bit. But before you do that, take a nice deep, full breath and exhale slowly. And when you're ready, gently and slowly open your eyes. And just roll back the shoulders a little bit. And bring the shoulders forward. And raise the hands a little bit from side to side. And thank you very much for being with me. I hope this relaxed you a little bit. You can practice every day for 2 minutes, 5 minutes, half an hour, whatever you want. The most important thing is to breathe and to stop. Whenever you feel that things are overwhelming, just stop, pay attention, and only then move on to the rest of your day. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sharon. Thank you for being here with us. And I hope that you all feel that this contributes to a little bit of your calmness and well-being. Now I'd like to introduce our next speaker, Hanny Fuks. She'll be talking to us about well-being in the FL classroom. Hanny?
Yes, can you see the presentation?
Yeah, but make it full screen.
Yes, I try. See.
Click on
Now it
present.
works.
Now it's fine, yeah.
Well, thank you, Sharon. Now on camera. So, good afternoon, everyone. It's a privilege to be here today with all of you. I want to thank you, Devora and Elias, for inviting me today. And I appreciate this opportunity to cascade some of the knowledge that I gained during the summer in one of the most amazing courses I took. For some of you that don't know me, I'm a passionate educator, English counselor. I work with all the ACO schools in the Jewish sector, national counselor in the Department of Languages. I studied phototherapy, photo voice instructor, and I work at Oranim College. And I'm currently pursuing my PhD. So why this course today? So teaching English in emergencies was a course that I took over the summer. And it actually allowed me to understand some of the feelings that I had during this past, we can say, months. I work with the children from the Otef Aza, and I was looking for some answers to get some help myself and for the children that I'm working with. So I want to thank Dr. Janine Darach and also Gina Petri, who were the leaders in this course, and the embassy who offered these amazing tools. So the presentation today focuses on trauma-sensitive teaching, social and emotional learning aspects, and some strategies, but I'm not going to dive deep into the strategies. We have and other speakers who are going to actually work with you on those. So how does the brain respond to stress? I'm not presenting all the videos because I have only 15 minutes, but the presentations will be available for you, and you will have time to actually dive deeper into these 5 minutes videos, which are very helpful. So summarizing, when we talk about the brain, we actually we can think about the brain in terms of upper stairs brain and downstairs brain. When we talk about the upper stairs brain, we talk about the attention, the memory, the language, the planning, and when in the downstairs brain is more about the automatic activities like digestion, breathing, movement, swallowing. So what happens when, for example, children and adults experience trauma? Their brain goes into survival mode. Imagine that you have a dragon coming after you. What happens to us? We try to survive. We can maybe fly, we can freeze. We have all kinds of reactions. So I will talk about those. In general, what happens is trauma triggers stress hormones, which flood our downstairs brain. And in that case, we don't think with our upper stairs brain. We can concentrate, we don't think, we act. So it impacts our critical thinking, the memory, emotional control, and empathy. We might even lose some empathy. So when some of you might have heard about the fight, flight, and freeze response. And today I want to add the fawn. So some trauma responses. Trauma can be just a siren for some teens and children, even for us. It doesn't have to be something huge. It can be just in the middle of the night, the siren. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. That's enough. Some of you might freeze. Some of you might flight. Some of you might get angry and upset. And others actually go into the fawn mode, which is pleasing and cannot say no. They just do whatever other people want them to do, and they forget about themselves. Some of us might be here as teachers in the pink zone, in the fawn area, when we actually work and think about others all the time and about the students, and we forget ourselves. So when we are in the state of prolonged trauma, especially among children and teens, these teens and children may stay in a long period of time in the downstairs brain. And it affects affecting neural development. Some of them it can cause fear and uncertainty persist even after the trauma ends, after the siren of things they have seen in TV. Trauma doesn't have to be something that they actually undergo, but they can see something on TikTok or on TV, can be secondary trauma. Okay, so the good news is that our brain, and especially younger ones, can heal. It's called neuroplasticity, and the brain can build new paths between the downstairs and the upper stairs brain. And how does it work? In a sentence, of course, it's a theory. I'm just giving you some tips here. Support from a stable, caring adult is key to recovery. Teachers, in our case, can play a crucial role in helping students to recover. I can give you an example from just this past Sunday. I went to school after the school was closed for 2 weeks, and some of the children were not behaving. And I'm telling you, they had psychotic behavior, they screamed, they behaved in a very unusual way. So even me, I'm not a homeroom teacher, but just having this knowledge and the awareness that I can impact these children, we can do a lot. And it doesn't have to be the homeroom teacher. Again, 1 second. This is another strategy. I'm not going to play it, but I will share it with you. It's called the hand model of the brain, where we actually have, this is our brain. This is the brain, the upper stairs brain and the lower stairs brain. And when we close it, we can actually see how our thinking takes over the instinct of screaming and yelling and so forth. So this is a wonderful video, and if I have time at the end, I will show it. So what is actually teaching during emergencies? And we can talk about COVID-19, for example, the pandemic. Now we're talking about war. There are many stress situations, and these actually impact the cognitive and the behavioral functions among the teachers and, of course, among our students. So when we talk about our school students, we actually can definitely say that some of them experience stress, tension, anxiety, and teenagers might have, for example, challenges in social behavior, decline in self-confidence, sleep disruptions, unhealthy behavior. You might see that more children are smoking and drinking, etc. So what is our course of action? There are strategies available for teachers during these times of conflict and stress that can be put into practice. For example, we can use a supportive and inclusive approach, be mindful of students' sensitivities during these stressful times, identify and understand the situations, as Sharon was saying, being aware of what's happening to these children and these teenagers. Active listening. Sometimes we don't have to say anything. We just have to listen and be there. Recognize stress indicators. Create a safe environment. Encourage openness. And to promote and allow the students to have some stress management tools. You don't have to practice mindfulness if you can't, but you might do some breaks in your class. You might do some, you might play some music or do other things, although I think that mindfulness is a wonderful tool. So if we summarize, trauma-sensitive teaching strategies are built on four steps: building relationships with children, children and teenagers, to our students, creating a safe space, offering choices. If you are, especially during Bagru time, they might be able to hand, for example, a different type of activity, and just give them opportunities to do other things. I'm not going into the actual activities because you will receive them later, and building skills of how to take care of themselves. So asking the students how they feel in the beginning of every lesson, but really, really ask them, how do you feel? Think about really, how do you feel today? You can use a scale to 1 to 5. They can use their fingers to show how they feel today. Pictures. You can use creative prompts, like what color represents your feelings today, or what season, for example, which season represents how you feel today. You can adapt your approach based on student feedback, modify classroom activities, incorporate breathing exercises, show care, and offer emotional support to foster a safe environment in your class. Another one is, as I was saying, incorporate social emotional learning activities, mindfulness, breathing, relaxation. It doesn't have to be long. It can be just 1 minute. We will practice one today at the end of the session, 1 minute exercise. Group sharing, role playing, encourage students to maintain personal diaries could really be helpful, especially for older students who are practicing their writing towards their bagrut. These are 2 really nice activities that I'm not sharing. This is breathing soup with young learners, cooling the soup, relaxation and senses. It's very similar to what Sharon was doing today. And another one is called the Pomodoro technique. You play a video in the class, or just measure the time for 25 minutes, and you break the lesson into smaller sessions and have small breaks within the class. You don't have to let them go out, but have short breaks between 25 minutes and 25 minutes. So 25 minutes, then 3 minutes of break, 25 minutes, 3 minutes of break, 25 minutes, and then they need a longer break, of course. So this is a technique. I'm sharing this video so you can watch later. English to express it is actually how you can work with language within the class, and basically using the language to implement these activities that I shared before. What I want to point out today is that a few years ago, this report came out during COVID and before COVID also, that teachers actually experience this almost the same level of stress as nurses do in ER rooms. So we are quite high, okay? And we're talking about K to 12 teachers. We're not talking just to high school teachers or kindergarten teachers. The Israel National Institute for Health Policy, a report from the National Institute highlights a worrying trend in the health of Israelis since the start of the war. Data from 2023 shows an increase in anxiety and depression, along with a rise in treatments for these conditions. So there has been an uptick in obesity and smoking rates, and these trends are expected to continue with comparisons planned for the 2024 data. So what we're trying to say is we need to stop, think, be aware, and even if it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 1 minute to yourself and to your students not dealing with the stress of teaching, it's worth it. So what's happening with us educators? I'm not playing the video, I'm summarizing them, but you will be able to go back to them afterwards. So what's happening with us? During periods of stress and anxiety, we may encounter notable impacts on capacity to instruct and excel in the education setting. For example, we might have physical well-being problems like fatigue, health issues, some of us psychological well-being problems like anxiety, depression. So if we talk about the cognitive impacts, we might have problems concentrating, the memory impairment, poor decision-making, reduced creativity, and sometimes negative thinking. Behavioral effects, and I didn't make this up. These were part of the course, just to let you know. These are impacts of burnout on teachers after long periods of stress and anxiety. So we could have intense emotional responses. We might feel that we want to avoid certain activities, unhealthy behaviors. As I mentioned before, with the teenagers, the same or similar things are happening also to us. Elias mentioned, Dr. Farah mentioned the self-compassion focused therapy. This was researched by, I'm showing you now the video.
Hi, I'm Russell Coles.
By Professor Coles. He actually shares his research on self-compassion, which is tailor-made for teachers in our case. We won't see the whole video, but just a part.
Professor of psychology.
Can you hear?
And a trainer in compassion-focused therapy. Passion means
Not very well.
It's very soft. I think you need to share the sound.
Really
And you've got 2 minutes left.
Yeah, yes, I'm done. So,
Compassion means kindness and
That's fine.
understanding. I believe that teachers in really difficult situations can avoid burning out because there are things we can do to support ourselves. Self-compassion can help teachers do this. Self-compassion means being kind to ourselves. Self-compassion means noticing how we're feeling and how we are doing in all parts of our life. Self-compassion can help us notice the stress we feel in our work, and it can help us find ways to help ourselves and manage that stress. I think many of us can get into the habit of powering through. Powering through means that we just keep going, even when things get difficult. This can work for us for a little while, but if we do it for a long time, it can lead to burnout. What's a better strategy than powering through? Compassion. Compassion is about noticing when someone's suffering and struggling.
So in general, I'm just finalizing the presentation. We are talking about self-care and compassion. When we translate it to when we translate this this term, we can say that we can practice, for example, mindfulness, or we can practice, we can do sports, eat well, sleep, etc., etc. We practice self-care. That's self-compassion. For each one of us is different. I posted here in the presentation, which you will get, a method by a Japanese researcher, which is called the 5-minute palm relaxation, which is great. I practiced it today. We have the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 grounding exercise. And you have...
Hanny, we need to finish, please.
Yes, yes, I'm done. And I have 1 more minute, right?
No, not really. Sarah, 1 moment.
Okay, I'm done. The last exercise, it's called memory interpretation and planning. So this exercise is done when you close your eyes and you ask yourself, I wonder what thought will come next. You close your eyes. If you think about a thought about the past, you say, memory, thank you, later. Then, I wonder what thought will come next. Then you have, well, tomorrow I have to cook, I have to do this, I have to do lesson planning. Then no, that's planning. Thank you, no. Then you have a thought about, wow, I'm cold, I'm hot, it's noisy. That's interpretation. Every time you get a thought, you actually give it a title, and then you let it go gently. So that's called the MIP exercise, memory interpretation planning, and then you actually help your thoughts, your mind to get clear by actually giving titles to your thoughts. You have ideas for creating a trauma-informed classroom, and that's it. Shetiye Shana Tova Elenu, wishing you a year of mindful learning, compassion, and growth. Thank you so much.
Hanny, there's some questions in the chat, but can you put your email there and then people can ask you afterwards?
Yes,
We just don't have time for that.
And I hope it was clear. Yes.
Okay, Devora.
Okay, thank you so much, Hanny. That was very useful. Some really good exercises there. I've done some of this with Hanny in the past and tried some of the techniques. So definitely have a look at her presentation and watch the videos so that you can learn some of the techniques as well. We're now going to split into 2 groups. So elementary school teachers are welcome to stay here, and Nicole is going to give us a session on practical SEL tools in the classroom. And Elias, what are the junior high and high school teachers going to be doing?
I'm putting the link right now in the chat.
Okay.
Please go to the link. If you are as quick, you'll get into the Zoom. If you're not as quick, and that's fine, you can just go into the YouTube link. When you click on the Zoom link, it's going to ask you to leave this Zoom, which is fine. You can feel free to leave the Zoom. If you're junior high and high, here is the link in the chat. For the elementary people, please stay seated. And Gail has shared the link in the chat as well, in the groups as well. Okay, so let's find Nicole somewhere. Nicole, can you?
I'm here. I'm waving.
Oh, there you are. Okay, group. Cool.
Here I am.
The YouTube link I just sent to the group now, didn't I? Yeah, I did.
Okay, and anyone who's listening to us on the YouTube link and wants to join the Zoom, there's room now because junior high and high school teachers have left. So if you want to be able to participate, feel free to come into the Zoom room.
Okay, Nicole, just maybe wait a second just so we can get a few organized.
I will. So thank you. And before we begin, hi, everybody. Wishing you all a happy, a safe, and an accomplished school year ahead. And the first thing I want to do is thank Devora for asking me to present. That's a huge compliment. And I look forward to sharing some thoughts with you today. I also want to wish Devora and, of course, Elias, who is now, I'm sure, moved over to the junior high link, best of luck in their new positions. And we are thrilled that you have stepped up. And honestly, Devora, it's time for elementary to have their own mafmarit. So we're here with you, and thank you so much.
Thank you.
Howie, I want to thank you for, at the last minute, agreeing to share my screen and for being a great tech support. And as you know, there are many clicks to be had, so we're going to try and do this. Okay. Here we go. Okay, so yeah, we're going to be talking now about bringing well-being into the elementary EFL classroom. That doesn't mean it can't be adapted for other age groups, but today we're going to focus on elementary here in this room. So practically speaking, yes, I'm going to try and be practical. Howie?
Hang on, I'm just making sure that everyone can see you because I'm sharing the screen. I'm not. Oh, you can see you. Okay, great.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, go for it.
Okay. I also want to thank Hanny and also Sharon for really calming me down. I was asking myself today, am I nervous? Am I nervous? And the truth is that even if we want to tell ourselves we're not nervous when we present, our bodies say otherwise. And my tummy is definitely feeling nervous or letting me know that I am nervous. That's okay. I'm with friends here. So thank you, though. You did calm me down just before this. What are we going to be talking about here for the next half hour, I hope? So firstly, just a few words, in addition to Hanny's words and Devora's words about children and mental health. I'm going to focus on that for just a few seconds. Then we're going to be talking about the difference between well-being and social and emotional learning. Definitely some very practical activities for you to take into your classrooms, even first thing tomorrow morning, and a call to action, because what is a presentation without a call to action? Howie, let's move on. Thank you. So numbers speak. Howie here, please keep clicking, and I'm going to try and keep up with you. Numbers speak. Okay, Hanny gave us a little bit of data just now, but I was also looking for data because numbers do speak. And in the Jerusalem Post, actually this year, how we keep clicking, this one is a lot of clicks. Yeah, in February this year, this is what we learned about the COVID year. We learned that the children who suffer from depression or anxiety multiplied 3 times. We are not surprised. But what we're very interested in now is how many children, or what's the percentage of children in Israel, no matter which sector, how many of them are suffering even more now during the war. Let's move on. Okay, so I found a Ynet article from last December. And December, remember, we were only 3 months into the war. And already then, 83% of Israeli children reported that they were depressed and suffering from anxiety. No surprises there. Let's move on to something a little more recent. I think it's also Jerusalem Post. This June, 19,000 Israeli children are suffering from PTSD, post-trauma, something depression, not sure, but that's what it is, definitely post-trauma. I probably do know the word, it's escaped me, that happens often, and it's no joke. 19,000 Israeli children, Arabs and Jews. I cannot tell you, I did look up, what does children mean? What ages are we talking about? You know what, it just doesn't matter. Even our children in the army, or children of university age, or children who are in their 30s are still our children, and these numbers are not looking good. Okay, let's move on. Okay, please keep clicking. So what's the connection between mental health and education? What does this mean? Where are we as educators? What's our role? We're certainly not trained to be psychiatrists or psychologists or nurses or any kind of therapists. We're not trained for that, but we are trained to be educators. And school instills a sense of normalcy in this crazy, crazy world, okay, where everything is upside down. If school continues, if learning continues, children feel a sense of continuity and safety. It also gives structure and familiarity. We all know what schools do. We understand, we know our teachers, we know our friends in our class. Again, please keep clicking. It gives us resilience to feel this kind of safety support network. As somebody in America recently said to me, we call it wraparound services. Wraparound services means we feel safe at school. We feel safe in our familiar environments. Children need to be in these familiar environments. That's why school has to carry on. And that's why no matter what we are going through as adults, as teachers, we need to carry on, okay? We need to let the children enjoy learning, continue to enjoy learning, and to have fun. Our children are not just the future, they are the architects of the future. This is our most important resource. I know that as educators, you agree with me. This is why we're educating. Let's move on. Okay, you can keep clicking. So let's have a look. Belongingness, that feeling of belonging in a system, not just belonging, but being an integral part of a system, and having something like school that just keeps on going no matter what, as much as possible, of course, given the reality of our present circumstances. They foster resilience. What does that mean to foster? It means they give us resilience skills. And that's something that as teachers in general, not just English teachers, as educators, we want to model and feel. We want to feel resilient, but we also need to teach it explicitly as a skill. How we keep clicking, please. Okay, so all of these things are really, really important for building resilience. Let's keep going. Harry, I'm really sorry. I'm not letting you rest
That's
today.
Fine. Really?
Okay.
There's an issue with the junior high, so I'm trying to fix that as well. But
I'm so sorry.
That's fine.
Okay. I'm grabbing all your attention. Okay, so have a look at what's written there. These are the things that give us resilience. This is what helps us feel strong and gives us the ability to continue to forge the way forward, the path forward for ourselves and for our students. Please keep clicking. What's the difference? When Devora asked me to present, I wasn't sure if she was talking about well-being skills or social and emotional learning skills, but the truth is I looked it up. And you know what? Have a look at these two pictures. How we keep clicking twice, please. Look at these two pictures and you can see for yourselves what's the difference. So this is what I learned. I learned that well-being is the umbrella term, and social emotional learning is a term for ways of teaching skills in order to look after and sustain our well-being. So it's kind of one thing inside the other. Well-being is the umbrella term. Social emotional learning has become known as the tool that we use in order to teach these skills. Let's move on. Thank you.
Hang on,
and
it's
again.
There we go. Okay.
Yeah, got it. Okay. Howie, I know this is one of your favorite t-shirts, favorite phrases. I'm an English teacher. What's your superpower? So why did I put this here? Because of course we know that what our superpowers are, every one of us, but we have to remember, even when we're teaching social and emotional skills, competencies, as we call them, at the end of the day, our number one job is to teach English, to teach a foreign language. So let's always keep that in mind, okay? Our lessons, our activities always need to be language-centered. Let's move on. Okay, so I'm sure you're familiar with these terms, with these phrases. We have self-awareness. These are all part of the social and emotional wheel, okay, the SEL wheel. So we need to look, of course, to our competencies: self-awareness, self-management, responsible decision-making, social awareness, relationship skills. Those are our 5 elements in SEL. And I went into band 1, but I didn't only go into band 1, because remember, we always have to go into pre-band 1 as well, okay? We can't just, again, in junior high school, the same thing. They can't only teach band 2. They have to go back to band 1 and pre-band 1. Otherwise, we're leaving very, very essential and basic vocabulary items behind. So we always have to go back. So these phrases and words relate to each one of those elements, but they're from pre-band 1 and band 1. And I want to invite you to go into the curriculum, to go into the lists of bands and find your own. There are many more. I just wanted to show you some examples. Thank you. So you can skip this. Everyone can have a quick look at it. Feelings and emotions, that's totally what at the base, really, at the foundation of mental health. Let's move on. Keep going. Okay, you may be familiar with this, you may be not. Okay, keep clicking. My circle of control. Look at all these things. What I can't control goes outside the circle. What I can control goes inside the circle. It's called the Control, Influence, Accept model, and it was actually developed by Roger Seep. Except you're going to say to me, but 1 minute, this is way too difficult. What do I do with this? I'm an elementary school teacher. This is not the right level, you know, when I'm teaching 3rd grade, 4th grade. What am I going to do with this? Okay, please click, Howie, for the answer. There we are, comes bouncing along. A template that you can find all over the web. You can find your own that our students can fill out, okay? We can give them examples, as we do on the left-hand side, and they can choose what they would like to put in their own personalized circle. This actually, I think, if you have lots and lots of circles, could be a really great wall hanging.
I've seen this before. This is incredible. It's really
great.
Really
great. Okay, yeah, this is really popular. Okay, let's move on. Okay, look at this. Talk about identifying emotions. What did I say before about my stomach telling me that I was nervous? So we could just simply give a list of multi-choice questions. We can use AI to help us because we know that it works much quicker. But of course, we need to check and make sure that everything is suitable for our students' level. We can ask them some multi-choice questions, and there's no wrong or right. Everything to do with SEL is very, very personal. Then we can get them, once they've answered these questions, to turn to each other and find out how our friends cope at times of crisis, for example, when there's a siren in the school. So, and lots of other things. But what does he do? So we can build an activity around like a questionnaire with some multi-choice questions. Again, no wrong and no right. Everybody's different. Let's move on. So self-management is the second element in our social and emotional wheel. Let's move on. You can see some of the things we do in order to manage our behavior. We have to help ourselves. Devora spoke all about that before, and Hanny touched on it as well as Sharon and Elias. So we know about the fact that we need to look after ourselves as teachers. However, let's move on, Howie. Okay, one more click. Have a look at this activity. Keep clicking. There we are. Okay, look at this, if you can see the words. And please write in the Zoom chat, and I think we're going to give like 30 seconds for this. What instructions go with this worksheet or this activity or this slide? What do the children need to do? What would you expect from them? I'm looking at the chat. Of course, you can have the PowerPoint, Maya. Choose a picture that means something to you. Great. Thank you so much, Heather. What else? What could we do with that? Think about skills. Think about our competencies in English. So we could say circle what's right for you, right? We could say copy what's right for you. I'm going to give you a sentence, a template, and you just need to fill in the words that are right for you. Of course, the thing I don't agree with on this little worksheet is that all our nouns begin with capital letters. If it was a student or a teacher of mine, they would get a no, no, no. However, this person is not a teacher of mine, but that's what we do. We actually would Tipp-Ex those or somehow make our own chart like that. This is just an example. So there's lots of things you can do with this information, with this text. Let's move on. Okay, being angry is fine. Everybody's angry sometimes. The question is what we do with it. I once read something that said, I think in my cousin's house, that said 90% of what happens to us in our life is within our control. It's something we can do. Okay, so, and 10% isn't. So when we're angry, we do have choices. It's always a choice. So we can ask the children to cut out what's right for them, where it says at the top, when I'm angry, I understood the words. So that's good vocabulary enrichment at the same time as teaching skills and teaching social and emotional language and ways to cope with our emotions. Let's move on, Howie. Thank you. Okay, a few of my favorite things. That's right. We're all thinking Sound of Music, right? So please keep clicking. Okay, have a look at these and just think to yourself, you can keep clicking, keep thinking to yourself, what would you do with these materials for your class? Of course, this can be a digital activity. It can be a printed activity, whatever works well for you and your students. But these are the things that in general, children like doing. That's fine. A few tips for them. Okay, another click. Have a look at this relaxation spinning wheel. I really like it. This gives children ways to relax when they're all het up or nervous or in those mamadim, in those safe rooms. I suggest that you do this. You give them this, perhaps with a card and maybe a stick so they can put in the middle and spin it round, and they should play with it with their friends in class, perhaps some group work, and of course teach the vocabulary first, as always, but then when they come to that next really difficult or awkward or stressful situation, they will have some tools. Of course, they will also learn these tools, we hope, in their L1, in their first language. But let's just say that the more teachers that are speaking the same SEL language, the more the children will pick it up. Let's move on. Okay, one more click. Yeah, so here's an idea, and I think it was mentioned earlier, but journaling, and I want you to just pay attention to the picture of the person writing, but also the reflection underneath. And of course, when we journal, we reflect. This is a very nice template for our elementary school students to really have a chance at some guided writing. Okay, so everybody can do something. Everyone can see the cup of water and tick off how many boxes, how many cups they've drunk that day. They can definitely do the same with fruits and vegetables, and they can draw happy thoughts. So even if they can't write yet, okay, even if they're at the beginning stages of literacy, there definitely are things they can do so they are not left out of this activity. Let's go. Okay, have a look at this one. Decision making, by the way, is also one of the elements of the SEL wheel. Another wheel, okay, which asks the children about their problem. So what is the problem? Maybe I left my homework on the kitchen table. Sound familiar? Okay, so this wheel asks them to answer those questions, to really think through the problem and then come up with some solutions. Okay, we can move on. Okay, have a look at this. I know you can't see the words. I can't either. And it's not just because I'm old. It's very, very small print. Of course, I'm going to share the PowerPoint with you later. I really like this flower. There are lots of I can ideas. And that's the idea. We want the children to feel strong. We want them to feel that they can do things, even if it's not everything. So what I did with this smaller circle, or rather the bigger flower on the right-hand side of our screens, is just have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 circles there, or even 4 petals that they need to fill out, and they can copy from the big one. Okay, some of that vocabulary is very, very appropriate for elementary, and in the middle, maybe they want to draw a picture of themselves. Okay, let's move on. Adapt the flower to your student's level. Okay, everything is a choice. Everything is a choice. We have a situation. How do we respond to it? But please click again. It's not just important how we respond to it. What we need to get our students to do is to think how we can respond to it. But please click again. What will the consequences be either way? So you see the top one, that's the location. Down below are the different reactions to any problem. And of course, we give consequence cards depending on what the children choose. So not everything is positive on these cards. They can choose negative responses as well. But the question is, what's the prize? What's going to happen after that? Okay? It's always about prizes with children. Relationship skills. So look at this poor child, makes me so sad to see him. Hanny, actually, you did this, so we're going to skip this, but this is what we need to look out for. These are the things on the left-hand side that we need to look out for. These are the symptoms of distress or anxiety. Let the walls do the talking. You've heard me probably talking before about a room with a view. Please keep clicking. What kind of posters can we put up in the school or in our classrooms so that the children are getting the message that they are strong, that it's okay to make mistakes, that we're going to move forward. No matter what we're going through, we're going to persevere, we're going to be resilient. Okay, so do let the walls do the talking, not just during class time, but of course, the whole day long while they're in school and they're looking around the classroom. Origami, isn't that lovely? Origami, we used to do that in elementary school. The kids still love it, particularly girls. I don't want to be sexist here, but that's the way I see it. They really enjoy it. They enjoy making it. They enjoy playing it. Go for it, okay? And have these lovely positive quotes in the different sections. Let's move on.
Isn't that a quacka? Quacka?
Yes, you can call it quacka. Spanish, I think. Okay, so let's just click here. We have to always remember to use text in our lessons. So please just keep clicking, Howie, and I'll try and keep up with you. There are a lot on this slide. So first you have to choose your text. It can either be an audio text, a listening text, or a spoken text, or it can be a written text. Choose your text. What is relevant for your students in this class? Also ask, what's its pedagogical value? Please keep clicking. Is it vocabulary enrichment? Is it reception? Is it production? What's the point of using this text? What am I going to do with it afterwards? What are the students going to do with it afterwards? Please keep going. Choose the social and emotional competency. We can't choose everything at once. So we need to remember our social and emotional wheel, SEL wheel. We need to look on there and decide which value, which competency do I want to focus on today through this text. And then you need to choose your teaching model. What are we talking about? What is that wheel? Please turn the page. Okay, so also here, it needs a lot of clicking. So we have 3 teaching models for teaching SEL and EFL together. One is we can focus in on a character in the text, for example, a cyclist, and talk about the character because why? It's easier to talk about others than it is about ourselves. Okay, teaching strategy? Do I actually not really want to use the content of the text in order to teach about SEL, but do I want to use my methodology, my teaching strategy, for example, individual work, pair work, group work, in order to facilitate the class, the way we work? Because, of course, collaboration, relationship skills, accepting the other, diversity, all of that, social awareness, all of that comes into our teaching strategy. So maybe the SEL part is coming into the way we work with the children and we get them to work together. Emotional connection. Is there something in the text that is worrying? Is there something that we can learn a skill from, an emotional skill from? So in other words, there are lots of ways to teach SEL, but texts are really important, as we know, because we're language teachers. And I believe that text should be taught, a text should be taught in every single English lesson, whether it be spoken or written. Okay, keep clicking, please. You may know this text and you may not. The plastic bottle classrooms, who remembers that? It will definitely tell us what your age is. Yeah, me too. Okay, the kids didn't like it because they hadn't learned the word walls. Remember that? If you didn't know the word walls, you were kind of stuck. Either way, this is an example of a mates-of text. We need to look at it and think, what's the pedagogical value here? Why am I teaching it? I'm just repeating what I said before. What's my teaching strategy? And what's the emotional connection? For example, this talks about certain children or a teacher coming to Africa and building a school. So there is some kind of social awareness going on here that we can talk about. There are lots of things we can talk about with this text. Okay, let's move on. It's just an example. Okay, keep going. Okay, so we have to reflect. At the end of every lesson, we need that is SEL-based and actually EFL-based as well, separately and together. We need to reflect. We need to ask ourselves the following questions. Please keep clicking and everyone can read for themselves. These are the questions I need to ask myself. If the answers are not so great, I need to think about rethinking my next and future lessons. Okay? Let's move on. What are your next steps? Here we are. We're getting towards the end. What is my call of action? So A, just think to yourselves, what is your chief takeaway from today's webinar or from this session? When will you implement it? Please keep clicking. In which forums will you share your experiences? And how can you cause a ripple effect? Really important when we learn something new and we think that this is the way that education should be going, we need a ripple effect. We need to share. We need to learn from each other. Please keep clicking. I'm going to send you this link now. Okay. Here's a link to a Padlet that is my gift to you. That is actually a place for you to put your favorite activities on. And perhaps we can share that on the portal. So I've sent you the link over there. But you can also find it in the chat, which I just put. So please do share with us your knowledge, your experience. Okay, have a look on the elementary portal. Again, this actually is a link and you can click on it once you get the, you can find it on the SEL part, on the SEL section on the elementary portal, but you can also find it on this PowerPoint. So you would click on that and suddenly you will get a number of icebreakers, just short activities that you can take into the classroom to break the ice at the beginning of the lesson. 2 more slides and we're done. So this is a poem that really speaks volumes, I think. It's written by Tali Versano Eisman, and I translated it from the Hebrew. When I am drowning, there is no need to describe water to me, neither its color nor its depth, because I can feel it up to my neck. I have just one request. Don't stop describing dry land, not ever. I would like you to just click one more time. Help shower us. Keep clicking, Howie. Help shower us with healing and resilience. Help us to rise again. This, as you know, is Rachel Goldberg, Poland, September not so long ago. Please click one more time. And this is her talking at her son's funeral, at Hirsch's funeral. And she is asking him from heaven to shower us, not just the family, but I think the entire nation, all Israelis, with healing from this absolutely unimaginable life that we're experiencing right now. Give us healing, give us resilience, help us rise again. In Hebrew, to rise again is tkuma. And you can just have one more click. And I just really want to wish everybody healing, resilience. Please continue doing the amazing work you're doing with your students and with yourselves. And I really want to wish you a very, very happy and peaceful Shana Tova, a happy new year, a successful school year, and may we all experience that healing. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nicole. It's hard to follow up after that, so I'm not even going to attempt to. I just want to thank you for giving us so many practical tools, because although what we do should be based on research and based on, how we should have some rationale behind what we do, practical is what we need to walk into the classroom tomorrow morning. So thank you so much for sharing all of these tools. Everything will be available to all of the teachers. And wishing all of us happy, healthy, calm, peaceful, quiet, new school year, new year. And I look forward to seeing all of you out in the field with your schools. Thank you so much.
Just a quick thing, that the YouTube link will be available immediately after this, and all the presentations will be shared with you at a later date. So yeah, well done to everyone.
Thank you very much. Good night, everyone.
Bye.